Namaskar everyone. Welcome to the 11th class of Yoganishta Ananda Jivanam. Wish you a happy new year to all of you here. A new year, English New Year, which starts, and as we start a journey with this new year, let's take a quick recap of what all we have learned for the past 10 classes, because as we move ahead, that plays a very significant role in understanding the concepts of yoga philosophy. Before we start learning the new concepts of yoga philosophy, let's revisit all the concepts briefly so that they stay firm in a conviction and as we move ahead in our yogic life. So let's start with the Guru Vandana. अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Om Gurave Namaha. Welcome everyone. In case you have any doubt, kindly raise your hand when the lecture is going on. I would take your question appropriately. Okay? So, I will do a quick revision. What is yoga? We are all here for Yoganishta Ananda Jivanam. So before we understand what is yoga, that is very important. Yoga is basically experiencing the limitlessness. To understand this, we need to understand the basic philosophy that the desire of limitlessness in people. People actually travel thousands of miles, and we have seen that. People travel thousands of miles to see an ocean or to climb a mountain or to see a sunrise or to see a big waterfall. That's because there is a longing for limitlessness, a thirst in human beings beyond the physical and beyond the ordinary. There's a deep thirst within us for this limitlessness, a profound desire or an yearning which is present in every human being. We are aware of it or not, but all of us seek this to touch that vastness. And this is the profound desire or yearning which is present in every human being. And that's what this profound inquiry was, the birth for an entire science, which was a path dedicated to realizing the limitlessness experience from within. And the name of the science was yoga, experiencing the limitlessness. So how do we achieve this sense of awe and wonder without necessarily having to look at the sky, ocean, or mountains? We don't need to travel miles and miles to get that feeling of awe or a wonder which you experience when we see the limitlessness of nature entities. So that is what the science of yoga has developed. Science of yoga, a journey of outer vastness to the inner infinity. All these great things which we see around us in the nature awaken something that is already within us. We don't realize that. The chill we feel down the spine when we look at a towering mountain, it's not caused by the mountain alone. If you see the same picture of a mountain, you don't feel the same feeling of wonder or awe when you see the mountain in true sense, in real. That's because there's a vastness which is associated with the mountain or endless sea. And that reminds us the depth and vastness that already exists within us. And this is which is known by science of yoga. Every beautiful thing, like a flower or any waterfall, brings us joy and amazement. And that is truly a deeper feeling which we really don't understand sometimes. When we witness these truly grand things, it awakens a reflection of infinity within us. So these ancient yogis discovered this, and they have found out that by simply closing your eyes and going within, you can experience something far greater, even better, an infinite vastness that is already within us. This inner exploration is a science of yoga, the journey of outer vastness to the inner infinity. So, what does it mean by being a human? So you've seen how the science of yoga has been developed. What does it mean by being a human? When you see these vast things around us in nature, there's a chill that runs down the spine. Everyone experiences. Your hair stands out in amazement. There's hair on the skin. It's horrification. Why does it happen? That is the essence of what it means to be a human being. The unique thrill, a silent awe that awakens when we touch the vastness around us. A robot can think, analyze, and even perform the tasks better than us. But it cannot feel that thrill what a human being feels so. In the same way, an animal sees all these things around it, a huge sky, a huge mountain, an endless sea, but there's no feeling of a thrill or a wonder in it. That sense of wonder, that awe, that quiet thrill is what is uniquely human, and that is what it means being a human being. So, as we move ahead, we understand that this special feeling what human beings feel in contrast with other living beings. But happiness is a common thread of life in all living beings. All living beings, creatures, from single cell to monkeys or everything, every living being, and including humans, seek happiness. Every living being has its own way of seeking happiness, although the criteria for that happiness differs in significant ways. Right? So, happiness is a common thread among all living beings. And every living being tries to experience this happiness in some or other way. So, talking about happiness, it's the desires of happiness which arises in human beings, animals, plants, everything. But there's a very different contrast between human desires and animal desires. Animal desires are on the physical plane. They are always limited. In the sense, animal desires begin and end with physical comfort. They are limited. That means once an animal's stomach is full, it feels safe and warm, and its criteria for happiness is fulfilled. So it simply rests and its life is complete at that moment. But in contrast, human desires go beyond physical and they are endless. The difference highlights a fundamental quality of human beings is that the desire in contrast to animals has no end. Unlike animals whose desires are limited to the physical existence, human beings' desires go beyond physical. They are endless. They wake up all night, they eat endlessly, they have erratic routines. They are in search of money, wealth, fame, whatnot. An animal's desire ends by physical plane, but human beings' desires go beyond that. Wealth, property, houses, whatnot. So, in essence, human beings are not animals. They are qualitatively different. What does qualitatively different mean? We'll come to that in a next slide. And a human being always says that ye dil mange more. They eat, but still the stomach is full. They again go for a party or something. They again eat, but that's not with animals. Once they eat and the stomach is full, they will never touch the food until they are truly hungry. So, the desires of human beings are unlimited. They have wealth, but still they want more and more and more. Why is this feeling arising in human beings? What is missing? What is the contrast in animals to human beings? Let's see that. There's a difference called qualitative difference. What is qualitative difference? What is qualitative difference in living beings? For humans, the pursuit of happiness goes beyond the physical. In the sense, wealth, fame, power, beauty, knowledge, whatnot. This points out to something deeper. That is the inner longing for infinite. They have an inner longing for the infinite, which they try to fulfill with these finite things. The insatiable desire, the endless pursuit of more, sets human beings apart from all living creatures. The insatiable desire is not merely a quantitative disparity but a qualitative one. This is a qualitative difference that distinguishes from other living entities. That is, the desire for infinite is the qualitative. No other living being has this difference of qualitative of desire for the infinite. That is, when you see across kingdoms, that is, a plant is different to an animal. Animal is different to human being. Every kingdom of creatures are different from the other creature. So, what is the difference between animals and human beings? Is the desire for infinite, which is a qualitative difference which differentiates animals to human beings. Similarly, what is the qualitative difference between plants and animals? That is, they move, they go around hunting. There's a difference between plants and animals which differentiates the kingdom of plants to the kingdom of animals. In the same way, there's a difference between kingdom of animals to the kingdom of human beings. That is a qualitative difference. So if it is across kingdoms, it is a qualitative difference. And if it is within kingdom, it is quantitative. Quantitative, I mean the quantity. For example, in humans, you can say that some people are intelligent, some people are not intelligent. So that is a quantity. But it does not differentiate a kingdom as such with a quantity, right? So I hope I'm clear on this point. This is very important, because if any of you have a doubt on this, you can raise your hand and I can clarify on that point. Hope I'm clear on that. Can you put a message in the chat if you're clear on that? The qualitative and quantitative difference. Namaskaram. Am I audible? Hari Om. Yes. Okay. Indira Bhagini says she's clear on qualitative difference. What about others? Yes, very clear. Thank you, Mahodaya. Purushottam Mahodaya says. What about others? Yes, audible too. I've not heard from Sharda Bhagini, Preeti Bhagini, Ramapala Bhagini. Yes, Sharda Bhagini, thank you. Preeti Bhagini, are you clear on this? Yes, Preeti Bhagini says thank you. Yes, she's clear. And Ramapala Bhagini, I hope you're clear on that. Yes, okay, fine. Thank you so much. Yes, this is very important, because many a times people say humans are two-legged animals, which is not right. There's a very big difference between humans and animals, because we have that unique desire for the infinite, which the animals don't have. That is what is very important. So this qualitative difference is called dharma, the dharma of human beings, the human dharma. This term has been used loosely by many thoughts, school of thoughts. But if you have to come down to the core concept of dharma, human dharma is the dharma to find the infinite. Everything falls apart. Different schools of thought have different understandings of dharma. But if you come to the core concept, that's what is dharma. Each living being has its own dharma. If you say a plant has its own dharma of growing, giving fruits, serving the society, and dying. In the same way, animals have their own dharma. In the same way, humans also have a unique dharma, which is uniquely for the human, and that is what is a qualitative difference. And this qualitative difference is called dharma. So a new word, dharma. What is dharma? The animal dharma is a four dharma. Ahara nidra bhaya maitunam cha samanyam etat pashubhir naranam dharma hi tesham adhiko visheshah dharmena hinah pashubhih samanaha. That is, animals have four. All living beings have a dharma called Jaivi dharma, that is Jiva dharma. Okay? And animals' dharma stops at four, that is food, sleep, fear, and procreation. But a human dharma goes beyond that. We have all the four desires, and beyond that we have something unique which is human, which is called human dharma. And this is defined by the infinite desire which all human beings have. This is what characterizes us as human beings, and what has characterized the Pashus as the four dharmas of Pashu. Four are required for human beings, but that's not sufficient. There is something which is what we have discussed, that is the infinite desire in human beings. Yoga, the science of realizing the infinite. All human beings live with this infinite desire, whether they are aware or unaware of this true nature. It's like an infant crying. It tries to fulfill its hunger by putting its thumb in the mouth and sucking the thumb. For a minute, the baby feels it's happy, but once the moment the baby removes its thumb, the hunger again starts. So we are trying to fulfill our infinite desire, which is deep inside us with these finite things like food, money, wealth, fame, and everything. And that's not what yoga says. Yoga says, try to fill up the infinite desire with knowing the infinite. Finite things can never fulfill the infinite desire in human beings. And yoga is the science of realizing this infinite. And that is what yoga is. Beyond postures, true scope of yoga. We have seen that everywhere you have yoga schools, but those are just asanas and exercises. If yoga is only just limited to asanas, it is just a part of yoga. Yoga is a holistic science. And yoga, the goal of yoga is to experience and realize the infinite. That's the reason asanas are a part of yoga, but yoga encompasses everything in this world. Everything is touched by yoga, and yoga is there everywhere around us. So the goal of yoga is to experience and realize the infinite. If you hear a yoga school saying that you will teach these asanas, that is not yoga. Let me tell you that. It is a part of yoga, but it is not complete yoga. Saying that, I said yoga. What is yoga? What is essence of yoga? The yoga word means union. Union of what? Union of the finite with the infinite. We live in a finite body and we carry an infinite desire within. By thinking of the infinite, the mind expands and becomes infinite. So, yoga is a merger of the finite, the finite with the infinite around us. That is the true meaning of yoga. Inner evolution. We have all seen the Darwin's theory that humans have evolved from animals, but we are not animals. As we have evolved from animals, we carry the Pashu Dharma also within us, and a unique qualitative difference which is the human Dharma. So we have two Dharmas in us, an animal Dharma plus a human Dharma. That is, the human Dharma is a Dharma of infinite desire. So, having said that, what Dharma should we follow is a question. How do we discern which Dharma has to be followed? There's an inner conflict which is a war between two Dharmas. Every human being experiences a struggle between animal Dharma and human Dharma. That's because as we have evolved from animals, we still have our roots in animals. But as we have taken a human form, we have that human Dharma also coming with this human body. So, there's always a conflict between two Dharmas. Either we stay with these four needs of animals, or do we go beyond these four needs and follow the human Dharma? The war of two Dharmas always continues everywhere in our lives. So, and the awakening of Manushyattva, that is what starts when the journey of yoga starts. We have all lived animal lives all these years, knowingly or unknowingly. So let's move ahead and try to fulfill this human Dharma. And we have taken birth in this human body. We don't know when we will get this human body again. So let's not waste our lives trying to fulfill the infinite desire with finite needs. Yogic way. What is how do we live a yogic way that is finite to infinite? The journey from animal dharma to human dharma is a yogic way of life. That is trying to encompass the finite to the infinite, the merger of finite to the infinite. Yoga teaches us how to become a human being in human form. That is from Pashutva to Manushyattva. We are all Pashus from inside, but Yoga teaches us to be a human from inside as well as outside. So it says, "O human being, stand up, begin the inner struggle, become what you are meant to be, a true human, not an animal in human form." This is what we have learned in the first class. I'll go ahead with the second class. If you have any doubts, till now you can raise your hand, or else I'll go ahead. Okay, fine. I don't hear you. Okay. Dharma, a choice. We have a choice whether to follow a dharma or not. Animals are bound to dharma. What I mean by that? Animals don't have a choice. They are programmed lives. They live in a programmed life. They take birth, they grow, they procreate, and they die. Whereas human beings have something, upadharma, called a free will or swatantra ichcha. We have a unique astram or a shastram to decide how our life should go, in what direction our lives can be taken ahead. That is a remarkable ability to choose how do you want to live in this life. This freedom is so powerful that they can decide whether they want to follow their dharma or not. But animals don't have that freedom. They are bound by their dharma. They cannot go beyond their dharma. But human beings have this swatantra ichcha, and they can decide whether they want to be animals in human form or humans in human form, to follow the human dharma or not. So, can the finite fulfill infinite? This is a question. How do we reach the infinite? We are finite beings. We have a body. Our space, our body is limited. How do we reach the infinite? All these things are finite, but humans have infinite desire. No matter how hard they try, the finite can never be fulfilled by the infinite. It can never be fulfilled by these finite things. Humans try to satisfy the infinite desire with these finite things around them. So, these finite things can never fulfill the infinite. We have seen that extensively. So, the inner evolution is what we need to start on. That is an animal instinct to human consciousness. The question rules. Every person is outwardly human, but inwardly there are two dharmas which reign. That is animal dharma or the human dharma. And vast majority of humans don't realize there's a battle going on within them. They don't engage in the battle at all, and they lose the battle. They tread on the known path, that is the animal dharma, because that's a known path. And since ages, we were animals. We always slide down to the animal dharma. So we have lived a life where Humans on the outside and animals on the inside. But yoga addresses this trouble beautifully. It molds us for an inner evolution, a process where a human being becomes not only outwardly human, but also inwardly human. There's two dharmas in human being. There's a dual animal dharma versus human dharma always. Who rules within? And the aim of yoga is to become a human inside as well as outside. Human dilemma. Human dilemma always exists, choosing between the animal dharma and the human dharma. So, the free will is the power to choose a dharma. We have a free will and we should exercise this will to choose our dharma. The infinite desire, which is what is a qualitative difference in humans, and to seek the infinite in this finite body is our human dharma. Contentment of animals. Animals never overeat, never oversleep, never accumulate. They are content. They are never obese. You cannot find any animal in the forest being obese. Whereas now the whole world is suffering with obesity. That's because humans overeat, oversleep, overaccumulate things, which is what we are trying to fill this infinite desire within us with these finite things. It's time we realize that all these things are not going to fulfill the infinite desire within us. It's time we realize we need to fill this infinite desire with the infinite around us. So humans are never content. Obesity is the burning issue now. Okay. The inner evolution. How does inner evolution start? Being a human inside as well as outside. The human birth calls for something higher, and that is what we need to realize. Animals are animals inside as well as outside. But are humans animals inside or humans outside? Yoga teaches us to become a human inside and outside, which is very, very important in this human life. The moment this awakening starts, the true understanding of this desire is understood. As long we don't understand this, we are always following the Pashu Dharma. But the moment we understand and when our inner eyes open up, the journey to know the infinite starts. It's a complete shifting perspective of life. Food is finite and it's fuel for the body, which can never fill the infinite desire in humans. Finite can never fulfill the infinite desire. Yoga is cultivating the experience of Ananda within. Yoga is a science of consciously awakening the same Ananda from within. What we have experienced outside, seeing a huge mountain or a river or a huge sky, not dependent on what we see or hear, but springing naturally from the realization of our inner connection with the infinite. Wherever we may be, yoga teaches us to awaken that inner joy, to live in harmony with that true nature, and to evolve and be a human inside and outside, which is the true human dharma. So yoga awakens that Ananda consciousness. You don't need to travel anywhere to feel the Ananda outside. Yoga teaches us to feel the bliss even much, much more from within. That's what is about yoga. Any doubts till now? And I'll go ahead with a new topic, entropy and enthalpy. Okay, fine. I'll go ahead. Entropy and enthalpy are two new concepts of physics and two new fundamental tendencies of the universe. Entropy means randomness and enthalpy means energy. That is what enthalpy means, heat. Maximum entropy and minimum enthalpy, all things in universe. What does this mean? Everything in this universe is with maximum randomness. In the sense, you take a human being. If there's no discipline or no one to monitor, the person wakes up at a random time, eats at a random time, and just lazes around. That is randomness. Or if you take a room, we'll come to the example. But once a discipline and effort is exercised on that human being becomes disciplined, wakes up at a particular time, eats at a particular time, and sleeps at a particular time. So a person needs a discipline in life to get things done. In the same way, nature tends to maximize entropy, that is randomness. The natural drift towards randomness. The natural tendency is to be random. Everything, it's like there was an example about perfume bottle. We have discussed that. When the perfume bottle is opened, all the atoms go in random places. You open the bottle. The same way, everything in nature is random, but that is a natural drift towards randomness. That's because if you have to put the same perfume atoms in a bottle, you need extra energy to put all the atoms in the bottle. But the moment you open the lid of the bottle, the perfume atoms go in random ways and they are with less energy. That is minimum enthalpy. The example is a perfume bottle. We have seen this example, entropy and enthalpy. We can see that the room is, all the things in the room are scattered. That is, there is maximum entropy, that is randomness. And there is minimum enthalpy. There is no energy exercised to put things in order. All the things in the room are erratic. There's more randomness and less energy invested. If you see this example of the room, there is maximum enthalpy. Enthalpy in the sense, energy. There's energy, it's done. Minimum entropy. There's less of randomness. Why? Because everything is in order. Everything has been set in order and all the things are in perfect place. So there's more energy exercised on this to put a room into order, and there's less randomness. So in the similar way, the universe, there's a hidden order in the universe. Nothing in the universe is random, scattered. It reflects a conscious design. The solar system, for instance, reveals an astonishing degree of precision. Each planet follows its own orbit, never leaving its path. The moon revolves steadily around the earth, and everything is in a perfect balance, guided by invisible laws. Nothing is random in the universe. Nothing collides, no planet collides with anything, and every element in the sky holds a rhythm in a vast space. So how is this randomness so less? Because there is someone or something doing this whole universe. That is Purusha, that is the infinite consciousness which is placing all these elements of nature in perfect synchronization. That intelligence is consciousness or Purusha. So hope entropy and enthalpy is clear to everyone. If any one of you have any doubt, you can raise your hand, because if you understand that everything happens with the perfection, everything in the world is perfect under the creation of Paramapurusha, that is the infinite consciousness. Nothing is random. The infinite consciousness is behind all this order. The consciousness has no beginning, no ending. It exists beyond time and space, silently orchestrating the harmony we witness in the cosmos. And that consciousness is what is infinite. And that is what, knowingly or unknowingly, all humans seek to realize. That is the Purusha or Paramapurusha. We all try to seek to realize the infinite desire of human beings. So this science of yoga, the science of union, is what teaches us to unite the finite in us, the finite body with the infinite desire in us, to join with the infinite around us. The union of finite with the infinite. The union of the small I with the cosmic I is yoga. Aham Brahmasmi, that is, you already have a spark of the cosmic I in you, and that's when you realize that you are nothing but the cosmic Paramapurusha. You are Aham Brahmasmi. This is not a statement. You might recite this word 1,000 times or 2 crores times, but you can never be Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi is a realization, and that the conscious within me and the consciousness that governs the universe are one and same. That is Aham Brahmasmi. And this is what yoga tries to move us ahead in this path. Union of small I to cosmic I, that is the essence of yoga. When we say Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, we are realizing that the Brahman is a cosmic I that pervades everything, that organizes the universe and sustains all existence. The limited self within me cannot be separate from that infinite reality. We are all deeply attached to the small I, and that's the reason we are not able to break the shackles of the I feeling, my body, my hand, my legs, my desire, my. That is the small I. But we forgot that the small I and the cosmic I are not separate. They are just one. And that's the reason we always feel the infinite desire within us, because We have forgotten that we are Aham Brahmasmi, and I am that infinite consciousness. Yoga, therefore, is a science of realizing the unity of the small I with the cosmic I. It's a practical science. It's a practice, understanding that which moves the human beings from the small I to the boundless eternal self, Paramapurusha, within and around us. Yoga is a practical science. It has to be practiced. Yoga is just not theory. Only one, when practices the principles and the practices of yoga, that is when the union of the small I to the cosmic I is achieved. And for this path, for direct experience, you need an effort. That effort is sadhana. As we have seen in entropy and enthalpy, the universe is set in a perfect order. So when we have to get in perfect rhythm to the cosmic force, you need sadhana. Sadhana is a dedicated effort to realize the small I in us is nothing but the cosmic I. It is through sadhana, which is applied consistently and consciously. The truth of Aham Brahmasmi is just not known intellectually, but also lived experimentally and experienced. It is experienced by each person who performs these practices and lives by the principles of yoga. Yes. Any doubts till now? Okay, let me go ahead. Sadhana. Sadhana is experience of union, the essence of yoga. How do you experience this union? Yoga is just not about physical postures or superficial practices. Its central principle is meditation or sadhana, a dedicated inner effort. The purpose of yoga is to realize that unity, to dissolve the illusion of separateness and directly experience Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. This realization is called Anubhuti. So that is when the Anubhuti of Aham Brahmasmi is experienced, the union of the finite to the infinite is achieved. We've also seen that an example of a river flowing from a mountain top to the ocean. Each one is separate. The river, each one is separate. When it merges into the ocean, it is just one big ocean. Each river is not identified individually when it merges into the ocean. Same way, each one of us belong to the supreme consciousness which is around us. It's time we understand that we belong to the big ocean of supreme consciousness. So, yoga at its deepest level is the practice of realizing that inherent oneness with the Paramapurusha or supreme consciousness. From realization, the yogic way of life. A key concept in this yogic way of life is Ananda, bliss. Every human being wants happiness, but happiness and Ananda are totally different. Sukha, or you say Sukha or Ananda, are totally different things. Sukha and Dukkha arise from external events. They are conditional and fleeting, whereas Ananda is not dependent on events. It is our true nature. And that natural bliss arises when the small I comes in contact with the infinite I. And that is what is Anubhuti. There's also another important point is Vairagya. Vairagya is Viragasya Bhavana. Raga means color, and Raga means the color of the universe. So Vairagya means living in the universe but not being colored by the universe. We are not colored in the sense we are not affected by the events happening in the universe. So these two concepts of yogic life are very important when we move ahead. And this is what we have learned in our class 2. Any one of you have any doubts or any clarifications in this? You can please raise your hand. Or else I'll go with a quick recap of class 3. Okay. What is Yoga Nishta Ananda Jivanam? Means yoga is union. Nishta means a firm devotion to the chosen path, the path you have chosen. We need to stick strongly to that. Be a firm determination. And Ananda is the bliss which you achieve in this yogic way of life. And Jivanam is life or living. That's what we are in this Yoga Nishta Ananda Jivana classes. Okay. The brief recap of class 3. What yoga really means beyond the mat. Yoga is just not about asanas or physical postures. These are an important part of yogic path. I don't say that, but yoga is much, much bigger in this journey. Yoga is union of finite with the infinite. If you are saying you are learning yoga, you should be practicing your sadhana and your practices for the union of the finite with the infinite. Not just saying, not just doing asanas, I'm doing yoga. No, that's not the way of life. Yoga is not something we do, but something we live. We live for the union of the finite with the infinite. This is a very important concept and what yoga really means. Practices, postures, breathing and meditation, all these are under the umbrella of yoga. Not just words living the truth of yoga. Yoga is just about witnessing the infinite outside. It is also realizing and becoming the infinite within. This is a profound difference between simply reading or reciting a sacred sentence and truly living its meaning. You might read a shloka 100 times, but until unless it's not experienced from within, there is no point in doing it. So, yoga teaches us how to practice it and live a life, a contentful life, a blissful life, a life which is the true purpose of human dharma. So we have seen the science of yoga and what is being truly a human being, how a human is different, what is a human dharma, what the science of yoga teaches us. But beyond all that, there's also an important point. Yes, we feel finite, that is also an important point. Because we feel finite, we feel we are limited. But when we practice yoga, you start experiencing the Aham Brahmasmi. It is just not words. That is what the truth of yoga is. Yoga is realizing and becoming that infinite within, not just outside also. We spoke a lot about science of yoga, but the science of mind is very, very crucial in this, because mind plays a very important part in yogic life. As one thinks, so one becomes. The fact is that mind does not have a shape of its own. Mind takes the shape of what you think. If you're thinking about a glass or a tumbler or a pot, your mind takes the shape of the pot. If you're thinking about a book, your mind shape takes the shape of the book. The mind is malleable, it is shapeable, it is changeable. On the same lines, mind and brain are not same. Mind is the software which is running on the hardware called the brain. Brain is the crude form, and the software which runs on the mind in the brain is the mind, just like the software which runs on the computer. The computer without a software is useless. A brain without a mind is useless. So, if you're thinking about the infinite, the mind becomes like that. So just remember this. As one thinks, so one becomes. The mind mirrors the object of our attention. If we dwell on subtle and infinite, the mind becomes aligned with that. That is the starting point of yoga. Learning to direct the mind toward that which is infinite, so that one can truly embody the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi. This is the heart and what is meant by sadhana, yoga sadhana. Sadhana means effort, the conscious effort to tune yourself to the infinite. Just like connecting to a Wi-Fi, sadhana is a process to align your inner frequency with the cosmic network of existence. When the tuning is right, you become one with the infinite and experience that Ananda Anubhuti, the bliss of oneness. That is the Supreme Conscious or the Parama Purusha around us. The feeling of bliss is not measured by any finite thing. It is much, much more than any finite thing in the world can fulfill that happiness. And that's what is human life is for. Aham Brahmasmi. How? How do we experience this? As one thinks, so one becomes. And mind has no fixture, we have seen that. And sadhana is tuning to the infinite. Sadhana is an effort to tune your mind on the infinite. This is the heart of yoga. And just like a person says, I have done Sangeeta Sadhana or any other mastery, you need to have an effort in this process, in this yogic life also, to dedicate the mind to contemplate on the infinite. And the yogi is the one who dwells in this Aham Brahmasmi. It's a conscious, dedicated effort, dedicating the mind, thinking on the infinite, and just you become what you think. As you think, as you are. So the moment you start thinking about the infinite, you start becoming the infinite. That is the beauty of this wonderful yogic science. And a yogi dwells in the bliss of Aham Brahmasmi. What makes a yogi? Who defines? What is the definition of a yogi? An active engagement in yogic life. A person who has an active engagement in yogic life, a life dedicated to the science of mind and practice of yoga. And as we have discussed, as one thinks, so one becomes. So this is a real challenge. That's because it's not easy to practice this sadhana, because it's a practical science, it's not theory. It's a systematic practice of training the mind to become what it contemplates. So yoga is a practical science. The challenges on the yogic path, every path has challenges. Nevertheless, yogic path do have challenges. That such challenges are nothing but Sangharsha. Sangharsha is nothing but struggle. A struggle is attraction for progress. We have discussed that when you have to walk on an iceberg or an oily floor, there is no friction, there is no struggle, there is no traction, and you slid on the floor because there is no friction. You can only walk a path when there is friction between the floor and your shoes. The same way, you have to walk this yogic path with Sangharsha. The struggle is always there in every path if you have to move ahead. Struggle is not a barrier. Please understand that. It is a bridge to move you ahead. It is a very mechanism that allows the mind to move towards the infinite. So, to support these sadhanas, the frozen lake, this teacher saying that you cannot walk on frozen lake because there is no friction, there is no sangharsha. Struggle is not a barrier, it's a bridge to the infinite. To help this sadhana, there are sadhanangas which help you to ease this sadhana and to motivate you to go ahead on this yogic path. The supporting practices create a conducive environment for the mind to flourish. Sadhana is a main practice for yogic life, but sadhananga are supporting practices which help you to ease your path of sadhana. And the body is the home of mind. We have seen that. And everything in this world have a vibrational quality, a spandanatmak. Everything has a vibration in the world. We have discussed this in last class in detail. I'll go ahead. Yes. So, your body is the first instrument because your experience of Aham Brahmasmi is felt in the mind. And the mind resides in the body. So, if your body is not healthy and is diseased, how does a mind be healthy? How is a mind healthy? The mind, if you have a healthy body, you do have a healthy mind. So that's very important. Your body has to be supporting the sadhana, and when you have a healthy body, it automatically supports your meditation, your sadhana, and your yogic practice too. We've spoken about a lot about asanas. Yoga is just not asanas, but asanas are a part of yogic life. So what is the true purpose of this yogic yogasanas. Yogasanas are required, but we do not engage in thousands of yogasanas. That's not a goal of life. Yogasanas are required to create a conducive environment to the mind. That is, yogasanas are required to have a healthy body, and we engage only in few asanas which are important for the hormones, because only when your hormones are right you have harmony in the body. So asanas bring harmony and balance. We don't involve in hundreds and thousands of asanas bending in different directions. We just have few set of asanas which help us to regulate the hormones in the body so that your body becomes a conducive environment for sadhana. And yoga is from finite I to infinite I. Sure. Yes. Okay. Any questions till now? Okay, fine. Yes, we've seen all this. Yoga is a practical science. It's not theory. Learning practice is crucial. Asanas, the ultimate goal of asanas is to help us perform sadhana towards experiencing the infinite. Okay, so this is all the basic philosophy of the science of mind, and these asanas. And another yogic practice is food, because what you eat is what you become. The two things, what you think is what you are, and what you eat is what you become. So food plays a very crucial part in this yogic life. There's a question, just a second. Bhagini, I'll be the time the class ends is at 12:30. It's 1.5 hours, and I'll be sticking to the time henceforth. I apologize. I've been extending the class. The class will be ending at 12:30 sharp, and we'll wrap up the class. Okay, fine. Okay, let's go ahead. Food. What is food? Food. We have seen so many things about yogic life, but food also plays a very important role, because food is the fuel for the body. It helps you to keep active, alert, and healthy. And for a sadhaka, food holds a very important point, because the body and mind are instruments for the spiritual practice. You need to have a very good body, and when you have a good body, you have a good mind. And food is of two levels, the gross part and the subtle part. The gross part is the physical part which you see, and the subtle part, every food has a subtle energy associated with it. And the gross part gives you the physical body, and the subtle part becomes the mind. So we have to be very cautious whatever food you take. And the subtle part is the energy, and every food carries a guna in it. The guna is 3 types. The 2 levels of food which I've discussed, the gross part gives you the nutrients and growth of the body. The subtle part affects the mind, emotions, and energy. So mindful eating is very essential. We have discussed this extensively, the mind and gut connection. The mind, there's a microbiome, the gut bacteria, which plays a very important role in controlling your mind, emotions, and everything. The mind and gut communicate with each other. There's a gut and brain connection in this. Just a second, there's a question. Yeah, thank you. And all diseases begin in the gut. We have seen that Hippocrates has stated that the gut is very important, because what you eat is what you become. The gut is also called the second brain, because the gut interacts with the mental health. It is one which creates a very good mental health. A peaceful gut creates a peaceful mind. A peaceful mind supports a healthy gut. Types of food, I'll be going a bit fast in this because we have discussed many times on this. Types of food according to yogic science. Food carries an energy quality called a guna, which I've seen that, and which guna influences the mind and body. The three types of food are sattvic food, rajasic food, and tamasic food. Sattvic food has a very good light and energetic effect on the body. Sattvic food is calm and clear. Rajasic food creates restlessness, anxiousness, and it creates a heavy feeling on the body. Tamasic food is dull and slow. The body effect is sluggish and inertia. So what food you choose is very important. Choose judiciously. So wrong food, on lighter note, wrong food is 2 minutes on the lips and 20 years on the hips. You just become obese with the wrong type of food. Yogic food. What is exactly we need to take? That's a question. What is yogic food? How different is from our present food? Are we taking the right food or not? What are the inclusions? What are the exclusions? Am I eating the right food? Yes. Okay. Before doing that, health. Okay. What is health? Health is a natural state of human beings. We are all born healthy. Health is innate. A human body is born healthy. When you are born healthy, that is the natural state of human beings. And every body has a self-healing power of the body. We have quoted an example that when you're in a cold environment, you start shivering because your body is trying to gain heat by that muscle action. On the same way, when you're in a very hot environment, you start sweating because the body tries to maintain that internal heat by sweating and cooling the body. So the body has a self-healing power which is very innate and very unique for any living being. But the problem is that happens when we are in harmony with the nature. When we lose the harmony of the nature, disease creeps in. The human body lives in sync with nature's rhythm. The daylight, fresh air, plant food, and everything. When we go against nature, that is consuming processed food, toxins, stressful life, the system weakens and the self-healing power diminishes. Health can be restored again by realigning with this nature's laws, that is getting into harmony with nature. True health is true ease. And loss of health is equal to loss of ease, which is dis-ease. Disease is not being at ease. Disease is not an enemy. It is a messenger from the body stating that you are thriving on wrong food, wrong habits, and wrong way of living. Disease is a body's language. Disease is the body's language. And when we stop listening to this nature's message, we lose our health. Healing begins when we restore ease and through awareness and right living. How disease begins? Disease begins when we disobey the laws of nature. Disease is a signal, and once you follow the harmony of nature, you are again restoring ease. Yogic food is very important to set this right, to get it right. Disease is the body's language, which we all are experiencing, and we are living on external chemicals and toxins and medicines, which is not required at all. Every disease is because of our wrong food habits, wrong living, and wrong way of thinking also. Yoga helps you to expand your mind, get your perfect body, and be far from all these diseases. Also a question which is always to be remembered: why animals stay healthy and why human beings fall sick? Natural versus unnatural living. No animal surpasses its natural way of living. It lives in its natural way of living, with nature's getting up early in the morning and sleeping before sunset, and eats what is given by nature. Wild animals eat whole natural foods, fresh leaves, meats. Nothing is processed at all. And we have spoiled our health conditions with our human food. We have processed our food so much that we are falling prey to all these diseases. Nature didn't design us for disease. We have created it with our diet and habits. So, is our intelligence a blessing or it's a curse to the body? We have to think that. We are so disconnected from nature that we are living a life with diseases. So why not catch this clue of living with nature, taking what nature has given and living by nature's laws, not using our intelligence for the wrong type of living? Animals have no stress, whereas we have constant mental stress, taking everything and trying to analyze everything. Movement versus rest. They have movement, but we have static lives. Instinct versus intellect. Animals live by instinct, whereas we are trying to ruin our health with our intellect. And at the end, what I can say is animals live by nature's law, but we have not followed nature's laws is what creating our problem. Animals are disease-free because they live in tune with nature. Humans fall sick because they go against nature. Animals do not plan their food like humans, and they just live as nature has done for them. They just take what food nature has given them. I'll take this 2 more slides and I'll close for today's lecture. What is nature's laws? Nature's laws is food which is whole, unprocessed form. In the sense, every living being, when the Supreme Conscious Parampurusha has created us, every living being has got its food. A baby, when it's born, its food is ready, its breast milk is ready, the mother's milk is ready. But once it grows, the baby can survive on natural plants, natural food given by plants, fruit, vegetables, and everything. But on top of it, we processed it so much with spices, with all other ingredients, that it is quite far and it loses all its minerals and vitamins what nature has given us for protecting us from disease. No salt, sugar or oil, which is what nature gives us. It has natural sweetness, natural salt, and there is natural oil which is there in all plant products. Nutrients are taken in perfect proportion, natural proportion, and that is whole food, plant-based diet, which is what a yogic life is required to follow. Okay, I'll take a break here, and can we go ahead with 2 more slides? I hope we are at 12:20. I'll just cover the 7 essential nutrients and we'll go ahead with the next class. Okay, I hope it's yes. Okay, the food. What is 7 essential nutrients of our food to be taken? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and fiber and water. These 3 are the macronutrients which are taken in huge quantities. Vitamins and minerals are micro. They are in lesser quantities. Fiber and water is always present in all natural whole food plant-based diet. That is what nature has given. Every fruit, every vegetable has natural fiber in it, and there is enough water for it. If you are on a fruit diet, you would never feel thirsty as much you are on a normal spicy and oil-based diet. That's because the natural water in the fruits is enough for a sustenance, and we really don't need extra water. Yes, I'll stop here because I'll go a bit. We'll try to cover these in the next classes. Next class, I will try to wrap up all the next 5 classes about food in detail. So, any questions or queries till now, you can unmute yourself, or you can express your opinion. Hope this recap is good or not. You can just let me know. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, Bhagini.
So you find this recap useful, Bhagini?
Thank you, Bhagini. This recap is very useful. Actually, you have brought back all the points. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. No issues. Preeti, Bhagini, thank you so much. You want to leave, you can leave. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to take a recap because that's enough. That's very important, as we need to get after this break. We need to refresh what all we have learned, because once we start learning the new yogic concepts, the old concepts could not be erased from the mind. So that's the reason I just wanted to take a very quick recap in today's class and the next upcoming class, so that we don't lose the basic concepts and foundation, which is very important for us. Okay. Varsha Bhagini says, thank you so much. I've only not repeated the classes. I really needed this. Thank you so much. I would cover all the concepts of food and everything in the next class in a very quick bird's eye view, so that we understand all the keen concepts when we move ahead into new yogic concepts. So I would end the class today, and just before that, let's do the Guru Vandana, and I have few more slides, but I'll take it in the next class. Okay, right. Next class is on 9th Chan, and it's going to be on the 6th to 10th classes. So before I end, everything at my Guru's feet. Tava dravyam jagat guru tubhyameva samarpaye. Om Gurave Namaha. Dhanyavadah. Thank you all for being with me in this journey today. Thank you so much. Let's meet next Friday, same time, and we would try to finish a quick revision of all the next 5 classes. Thank you all. Dhanyavadah, everyone.
Thank you, Bhagini.
Dhanyavadah, Bhagini. Thank you so much. Dhanyavadah.